next guest is a wonderful speaker and author of the book Picture Perfect. She's the consummate relationship expert and coach. Please welcome, by a round of applause, here, audience, the one and only Mrs. Lakia Brandenburg. Lakia, welcome to the show.
What's going on, Clark? Thanks for having me. How are you?
Probably cloudy, as old people used to say back in the day.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
You might hear all that echo from it. That my engineer got the sound system too high? No, it's probably not him. I'm doing fantastic. And you and I first met officially at the Women of Power conference, right? No, it wasn't Women of Power. It was the see, I'm messing up. But it was a women's shop. Yes, which is called.
I'm telling you about marriage from a wife's perspective.
From a wife, because boy, if we had the man's perspective, it'd be a different show. But I, being one of the few men there, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And I enjoy your message, so that's what I said then. I've got to get you on the show. And what better time to get you live? Tell the folks who may not have heard your story a little bit about your journey.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, Picture Perfect is my love story, okay? It's basically how I redefine my perception of marriage and the love that we share in it. And my husband and I came together and created what we consider a picture-perfect marriage, just based on imperfections, of course. Y'all understand that, right? Because, see, when I was growing up, marriage had so many different faces. Marriage was abuse. Marriage was contention. Marriage was argumentative. Marriage was just so many different negative things. And by the time my husband and I got together, we both realized marriage got a bad reputation. I mean, we wanted to do this thing called being together. Let's be together, boyfriend and girlfriend forever. We don't need to, make it official. We don't need to put papers on it. Let's just do that. But it wasn't until we got educated and trained on our roles. I got educated on my role as a wife and understood what a wife does for her husband, and he was educated on his role as a husband and realized what his role was in our lives so that we could come together and create this beautiful union. So that's what my story is about, and that's what the book is all about, just basically sharing how we all come up with these perceptions, and we're all raised with these different perceptions, but these perceptions can change, and we can actually have something beautiful like that storybook, tells us that we can have. So that's what it's about.
And by the way, just a show of hands, how many of you are married in the house? Oh, Victor, you better raise your hand. Wanda will come down here in a minute. Oh, okay. So we have, I know you married? No? Okay, so we've got half that are half or not. Are you guys looking to be married sometime in the next century? Okay. Now, see, how we get the motorcycle boys on Peter Street? Y'all hear that? Those are the famed motorcycle boys. Lord Jesus. You, we're going to pick back up, you were already an accomplished writer. You did some freelance work for magazines like Upscale and Gospel Today. When did writing become that important for you?
Wow, good question. For me, writing is like my catharsis, and basically that's an emotional cleansing. I'm able to share things through my words on paper that I may not be able to share in person or may not be able to articulate. So it wasn't until, I think, honestly, this journey for me did it, just becoming a wife, actually going through the boyfriend and girlfriend stages and realizing that I had a story to tell, just like everybody does. But why not share my story so that it can help somebody else? So I'm going to be honest with you, Clark, I started writing Picture Perfect, and a couple of hundred words turned into 1,000 words, and I was just like, wait a minute, I have a book here. And at the end of each chapter, I added reflection questions. Like, these were questions that I didn't ask myself when I was trying to, or even consider being married. Certain questions that we should ask ourselves that we don't ponder on, I put at the end of each chapter of the book, just to assist my readers, with actually creating their Picture Perfect. It's like a blueprint. So writing for me was that catharsis, that emotional cleansing, and I was able to discover, I have something here. I have something that I believe will not just be beneficial to me, but to somebody else as well.
And you actually have your books here today, and I advise or recommend, because I read it, it's a great book for men and for women. I advise everyone to take a copy or get a copy. The book Picture Perfect, I like what you say on the cover. He's not perfect, I'm not perfect, but let's together we're a picture perfect. What does that mean to you?
Wow. Okay. we all know that when we're looking at storybook fantasies, we expect perfection. I mean, when we look at, let's go back into Walt Disney, and we see those princesses, they seem to be flawless. You know, there's nothing, they never tell us what happens in between. They tell us they meet, they're in love, they get happily, you know, they get married, then they happily ever after. Okay, but what happened after, you know, the sunset? You know, you didn't tell me he was going to get on my nerves on Sundays. You didn't tell me that, you know, just all of these different things that we deal with in relationships, it's still based on imperfection. There's only one perfect being, I'm sorry, and that's God. And so when I look at when we come together, regardless of who we are and how well together we think we are, we still have some things about us that aren't 100% correct. So I always look at that like picture perfect is based on imperfection. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But guess what? Together, we're going to make that perfection.
You